Hey, I finally finished Donkey Kong Bananza a few days ago as of writing the script, and wow, I am seriously flabbergasted, like in actual disbelief with this game, man. Not only because of how great it ended up being, but also because of this game's ending sequence. Like, what the actual did they cook here, dude? Holy sh. I want to make it clear here if I haven't already with the title and thumbnail. If you haven't been spoiled by Bananza yet, please, for the love of all that is holy, do not watch this video. I don't want to be the one to spoil anyone with this game. I would genuinely feel awful. I know what it's like to try and avoid spoilers for a new game. It really sucks. I know this video will make the problem a tad worse, but I want to do the best I can to not spoil anything right off the bat. Seriously though, if you haven't played this game yet, do yourself a favor and play it first. I promise it'll be worth it. I promise you. Unless you don't have a Switch 2, because you can't afford it. Which, yeah, that's fair. Thanks, Nintendo. Heck, you know what? I'm gonna first spend a little bit of time talking about my first impressions finishing the game, before getting into the major spoilers. Just in hopes that YouTube doesn't make the preview anything spoiler related. At least I hope so. YouTube, seriously, don't screw me over with this, please. Anyways, so, my initial thoughts on the game overall? It's pretty awesome. Like, it is just a pure, dumb fun platformer from start to finish. This game rarely had any dull moments to me. It was just constant platforming and monkey action the whole way through. It is so damn good. The gameplay especially feels incredible. It's like a combination of Jungle Beat, Donkey Kong Country, and 3D Mario put together, and it's glorious. Not only is it fun to destroy shit like a madman, but the game also has some of the sickest movement options I've seen in a DK game. Like, the amount of freedom and speed you have moving around is so sick. It genuinely feels like Mario 64 or Odyssey and how much cool stuff you can do. And if you know me, I love movement-based platformers, and Mario 64 and Odyssey are in my top favorite games of all time, so this game plays like a dream to me. A movement-heavy 3D Donkey Kong game is something I always wanted, and man, I just could not be happier with how it turned out. The only thing I'll say is that I was a bit worried the game would get too repetitive with the levels and smashing stuff, just cause I thought the first couple levels didn't have a ton of variety in platforming and challenges, but I was dead wrong. The game just kept getting better and better, with even more creative and fun level designs. It's generally like the perfect difficulty scaling. It's amazingly done. I could talk about so much other stuff, but I want to leave it at that for now. Just know Bananza is fantastic, and is a game I've wanted Nintendo to make for a long time. As someone that heavily grew up playing Donkey Kong 64 and Jungle Beat, this game did so much to respect those two games, as well as feeling like its own thing. I'm totally in love with this game, man. It is so good. Anyways, I think I'm ready to get into the ending stuff with this game. I want to warn you all for the last time. If you plan on playing this game and haven't been spoiled, please stop watching. Click off this video and go play the game already. Okay, I'm gonna give you a few more seconds until I talk about spoilers. This is truly the final warning now. Okay, so like, King K. Rool is back, I guess. And not just as a small cameo, but as the main plot twist villain of Bananza. What the hell? I know a lot of people got spoiled by this reveal, unfortunately, but as for me, I thankfully didn't, or at least only heard peeps that maybe he was in the game, but I wasn't really sure. At least I had zero clue what role he'd have in this game if he was in it. So like, even before I saw the K. Rool reveal, I actually really liked Void Kong and his crew a lot. They have really great designs, and Void Kong's greedy and over-the-top personality and facial expressions were so entertaining to watch. I really didn't mind him being the main villain at all. However, I still deep down was hoping K. Rool would be in the game to some extent, especially to see that Nintendo does care about the Rareware era of Donkey Kong. Oh boy though, I was not ready for what was to come near the end of the game. I guess to give a super quick rundown of the story up to this point, basically, Void Kong is trying to get to the center of the planet to find a thing called the Bananium Root, which grants you any wish you could desire. He thought he needed Pauline's singing voice to unseal it, which is why he kidnapped and brought her along. The entire game is pretty much DK and Pauline stopping Void Kong from getting to the planet's core first. Unfortunately for them, Void Kong had finally made it to what everyone presumed was the core of the planet now. He thought he'd found the Bananium Root and... wait a minute, that shape looks oddly familiar, doesn't it? At this point, I was kinda losing my mind. I was really hoping this was actually K. Rool, but in my head, this made literally no sense. Like, why would K. Rool be inside the center of the entire planet? I just didn't fully believe it just yet. But now, after a fight with Void Kong, he traps DK in whatever his magic tape thingy is, and forces Pauline to sing to not only save DK, but also unseal the Banandium root. Once she does, Void Kong dashes towards the root, not waiting on this opportunity in the slightest. He could finally get what he was working for, right? Nope. Let's just say he was met with a big surprise. Yup, it's King K. Rool. At this point, I was literally jumping out of my couch popping off. I was so pumped that K. Rool was back with such a big role again. Still though, why was he even down here this whole time? I really needed some kind of explanation or something. Well, apparently, he and his crew seemed like they knew of the Banandium root before anyone else, being the first ones to make a search for it themselves. And from what I can understand, I think what K. Rool wanted to wish for was so cruel and despicable that the Banandium root sealed him away so he couldn't get his wish granted. Not only is this already really cool in of itself, but the game takes things a step further with it too. So, you know those weird fossil enemies Void Kong's been controlling to use against you throughout the whole game? Well, after you go down and follow K. Rool for a bit, you'll see that some of his henchmen are still alive, and well, they're using the same armory and attacks as the enemies above do. So, that pretty much means you were fighting K. Rool's minions this entire time, or at least I think so. Just ones that were left behind during the search and pretty much died and became fossils or some shit like that. At least that's just my guess. Maybe this was obvious the whole time, but as someone that barely watched footage or theory videos on this game before release, I had zero clue these enemies were connected with the Kremlings at all. Like, man, that is some seriously crazy foreshadowing and just excellent environmental storytelling. I was completely blown away. They even make the same death sounds from the original Country games when you defeat them. It's so cool. Even Cranky Kong mentions how he was after the banana thief this whole time, but he never referred to who, so I assumed he was just talking about Void Kong. But no, he was absolutely referring to K. Rool. He just never outright says it, cause he probably just assumes you already know who he's talking about. Like, jeez man, I'm still in disbelief of how much effort they put into the story, and reveal of K. Rool and the Kremlings. This genuinely feels like some crazy game theory stuff that actually ended up being in the game. It's honestly insane. Never would I have expected them to go this deep with a Donkey Kong game of all things, but man, I am all here for it. I also feel like K. Rool and his crew being sealed away inside the planet was a bit of a nod to the fact that, you know, none of them have been in any DK games in a super long time. It's obvious they knew how much DK fans anticipated this moment and really wanted to blow us away. And man, they absolutely did. At least I most certainly was. However, we haven't even gotten to the K. Rool fight itself yet, but you just know I was ecstatic to see it after being shown everything else I've already discussed before. So, we finally fight K. Rool, and he uses the power of the Banandium root against us. And man, his goofy, yet intimidating animations up to this point were so awesome to see again. But the fight itself was cool, I guess. Nothing crazy, but still probably better than any of the other bosses in the game, which isn't saying much to be honest. Once defeated, we finally got the Banandium root for ourselves, and we got Pauline's wish to return back to New Donk City, her hometown. We're now going to the other side of the planet at a very fast rate to get to her home, and thus, the game ends, and the credits roll? Yeah, no. This is literally just Donkey Kong Country all over again. Even the Gangplank Galleon music is playing. You know this is not the end yet. K. Rool does not give up that easily. We then get this crazy cool sequence where we're having to get K. Rool away from us while riding up to the other side of the planet. The music here just goes even more ham. I'm just gonna play it for a bit because it's seriously an amazing remix. Yeah, nah, this shit was so sick, dude. I couldn't believe what I was even playing at this point. But guess what? Once we finally reached New Donk City, it still wasn't done yet. K. Rool finally got the Banandium root and is using its power to take over the whole city. And holy shit, look at how crazy this looks. There are just K. Rool signs and ads plastered everywhere, really showing how egotistical K. Rool is of himself. The platforming challenges here were quite tricky and super fun too. On top of this absolutely stellar presentation, I was completely floored. I was already super happy with what has happened so far, but it just kept going and going and going. But eventually, I finally reached K. Rool for one last fight. And of course they use the boxing arena from Donkey Kong 64, of course they do. Just even more and more nods to so much classic DK stuff the whole time. And this boss fight was a much tougher and more insane version of the first phase of the fight. Not only is his Bananza form super cool looking, but the attacks he was using were completely bonkers crazy. Even the frame rate dips a decent bit because of how much stuff is on screen. He has tons of health too, and it's so fun figuring out the fastest ways to deal damage, using multiple of your Bananza forms yourself to deal with different attacks and situations. It was seriously so fun, easily one of the best final bosses I've ever played in a platformer. But of course, every good thing must come to an end at some point, and with the final punch, we finally defeat K. Rool. I love the little animation of him having a temper tantrum while being flown away across the sky. It is just so perfect for his character, man. And yeah, we get a super heartfelt goodbye with Pauline, and DK falls back down to the mines, thus ending the game for real this time. At this point, I was just overwhelmed with emotions. I could not believe they went this hard with a 3D Donkey Kong game after so long of waiting for one. No joke, I actually cried a bit once I reached the credits. I know, that's embarrassing, but man, when you play an ending sequence like that for a franchise that's been sorta dead for quite a long while now, it really pulls on your heartstrings. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole ending of Donkey Kong Bananza. I usually don't like making videos of me just summarizing a story or what happens in a game, compared to me just saying my honest feelings on stuff. But obviously with something like this, that's so story heavy, it was kinda impossible not to. But I hope I was able to express my feelings on it well, cause I want you all to know this ending really hit me so hard. I already loved Bananza before, but this really skyrocketed the game to being not only my favorite Donkey Kong game at the moment, but one of my favorite games I've ever played. This is definitely the most fun I've had with a Nintendo game in quite a while, and this ending really is an example of why I think this game is such a damn masterpiece. At this point, I felt super motivated to replay some Donkey Kong games, so I thought maybe I could make videos on some more DK stuff as an excuse to play them. Though probably not for a while, since I originally wasn't going to make any videos after my ginormous 3D Sonic video I made not too long ago, which is now my most viewed video by the way, so thank you to anyone that watched it, like seriously. It's been a really cool thing to see for me, it really means a lot. It really has motivated me to want to try making more videos every now and again, which included this sudden video. Bananza's ending really just blew me away so much that I felt inspired to make this video just talking about it while my hype for the game is at an all-time high. Hopefully the video didn't turn out garbage, and sorry if it did. I just thought it'd be fun to make this video was all. Anyways, I'm gonna go back and play more Bananza for now. Maybe I'll see y'all next time if anyone ended up watching this video, and if anyone did, thank you. Alright, that's it for me for now. I'll see y'all later.